All right, Cam, this guy wants to trade Jonathan Taylor for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Quentin Johnston. What are you doing here?
Of course, we all have to take a step back here, okay? I'm looking at the Amon-Ra and Quentin Johnston side saying, how could I not take this side? But we have to be careful because we're looking at potentially the fantasy MVP over here in Jonathan Taylor. The fantasy MVP, that doesn't happen very often. Okay, Amon-Ra is great. QJ has had a fiery start. But at the end of the day, Jonathan Taylor is that workhorse, bell cow running back who is also very relevant in the passing game for the Indianapolis Colts. At the end of the day, give me the fantasy MVP. I'll figure out the rest of my team later. If I have the best player in fantasy football, it's hard to beat me. It really is.
I think that's the exact right point because it's Jonathan Taylor and also comes at a running back position, which comes at a premium.
So rare
right?
now.
You can find wide receivers like, look, Quentin Johnston was just found off the waiver wire, right?
Exactly.
Like, no one had him on their team. And, you never know what's going to happen. But when you have a stalwart hero running back like Jonathan Taylor, as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown is, you can't really trade for that. Because Amon-Ra St. Brown, he has been really good, but he's been very touchdown dependent lately. He's getting his targets, but they manufacture stuff in the end zone. But he is not looking like, that Jonathan Taylor type of game breaker, truly game breaking talent that we've seen on a great Colts offense. You forget week 3 or week 4, he missed that 45-yard touchdown because it was a holding penalty. Like, don't look back at that. He had 3 touchdowns, 145 yards. Like, he is a fantasy superstar, and you never trade the best player.
And look, Amon-Ra, I have Amon-Ra on my team. Believe me, I've been very happy with his production so far. But he's not a guy even like Puka Nacua, who is going to actually be he's so fantasy relevant because even without touchdowns, he's the best wide receiver, maybe one of the best fantasy players. Amon-Ra, just to kind of give you a little bit of like context, he's a little bit below Puka. And then that, in my opinion, Puka is a little bit below Jonathan Taylor. So that's kind of where my thinking goes. I also don't know if I necessarily trust the QJ for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So I know he's had a very hot start, and I would absolutely sell high on him. So this is great. Make sure you get Jonathan Taylor.